What's up, YouTube? This is Eric here, guys, with the TRD. So I'm bringing you guys my version, or not my version. I'm bringing you guys a little gameplay here that I did online. Now, this is a really cool deck right here. I mean, a really cool video. I played 3 games with my opponent. He's playing Runick Spright. I went 2-1. On game one, he went full combo. I didn't have any hand traps. If you saw my deck profile, you know I don't play any hand traps. So I wasn't able to stop him at all. He went full combo, and rather than just exposing part of my deck and letting him know what I play, and then he could cipher it properly in game two, I just go ahead and scoop. But I allowed him to go full combo first, make his board, and I scooped on my turn, just so I could see exactly what kind of board he's playing with, and what things like that sort. And he's playing Runick Spright. This is a very, very good solid deck. I honestly think this deck is like a tier 1, tier 1.5. If Yoshizu tiers gets hit in the next ban list and they don't touch this deck at all, this deck will be the next tier 0. This deck is so good. It just has like so many engine cards, can play through so many interruptions. You're gonna see it in this video that I put up a bunch of negates and he's able just to play through basically everything, but I still come out on top anyways. But yeah, this is a really good deck and a really good pilot as well. This guy played the deck very, very good, or girl, I don't know. But yeah, plays really good solid deck. I didn't see any Bestials in game one, so I didn't know he had any Bestials. So I don't know if this person cited Bestials going into game two, or maybe played him but didn't open up in game one. But regardless, so this is going to be me in game two going first now. I've lost the first game, so here we are in game two. I've opened up in Demon, the Mighty Master of Magic. We got Odd-Eyes Revolution Drive, we got Servant, we have Spiral Flame Strike to search. And then we got the ability to banish one level 7, draw 2 cards, which we can also just go ahead and banish Endymion here. Endymion is kind of, I mean, we're playing 2 Endymions, but the one in hand is kind of dead anyway, so it's a perfect card to banish with Sacred Sword of 7 stars. So it's not too bad at all, but we have Servant Endymion, which is one of the cards you kind of want to open up sometimes. If you don't open it though, I mean, in my combo video, I didn't open up this card, I believe, and I still able to go full combo. But yeah, so first things first, activate Servant. Activate Spiral Flame Strike. That's going to search and also put a counter on Servant as well. So we're going to search for Pendulum Dragon here, or the Arc Pendulum Dragon. And then I believe I activate the Odd-Eyes Revolution Dragon here to search Darkworm. And there's a slight misplay on my part. So I should have normal summoned Darkworm first and then search for the donut. So that way I don't draw into it with Sacred Sword of 7 stars. A little bit of a misplay, not too bad though, but just something that you can keep in mind. However, though, I don't draw into the donut, which is really good though, but that's something that we could have done at first as well. But now we're going to normal summon Darkworm, search for the donut. And already our Servant of Endymion already has 2 counters. Then we're going to place the third one whenever we activate Odd-Eyes Arc Pendulum. Now we can use its effect, especially when it's up out, and Jackal as well. Now at this point, you have, well, it doesn't really matter. We only have 3 summons though, but you do have protection against hand traps right here though. However, though, when you make the link summon, you do lose the ability to negate a hand trap there because we lost Servant of Endymion. But we make Beyond the Pendulum. I search for Losco, so I search for Odd-Eyes Persona. Now I'm gonna activate Persona Dragon that puts another counter on Jackal King. However, though, we still don't have protection against Nib or hand traps because of something I mentioned in my deck profile. So Beyond the Pendulum is a really good card. It's not as good as Electromite, but it's still a very good card. It allows you to search. You take some damage, but it's okay. But it allows you to search for another Pendulum card, which is really good, which is kind of what Electromite did. However, though, it has a huge restriction where you cannot activate monster effects. This would be monster effects in your grave, your hand, or on field. You can activate any monster effects or effects of cards in your pendulum zones until you pendulum summon. So unfortunately, if our opponent had Nib here, he could actually just Nib us, and that would kind of like end our turn there. We could still do a little bit, but not too much. It would just be like a huge really drawback though. But yeah, our opponent, unfortunately or thankfully, is not playing Nib, or maybe didn't open up Nib. So we're able to pendulum summon here. So we pendulum summon the donut, the dark worm, the sorcerer here, and then we already have Jackal King on board. I choose not to. I don't know. Maybe I made a mistake here, but I probably could have summoned out Servant of Endymion here anyways, and I could have used like Servant of Endymion. I could have used like another card to make an IQ Masquerade, which I still do anyways, but I don't do it. And then instead I end up using the Perform Pal Sorcerer effect here to pop 2 cards and search for 2 Perform Pal cards. And it's also going to trigger our Odd-Eyes Arc Pendulum, so we bring out the Odd-Eyes Arc OG Dragon from the main deck. And now we have the ability to fusion summon. And like I said, I still could have brought out the sorcerer, just have 1 extra card on board, so we could use it for like another card for not like just have like another link material to make a Appaloosa, which would be really nice. But I kind of make a mistake there. But yeah, we activate sorcerer we activate dissolver in the pendulum zone, and then we make Active Masquerade with the donut and with Darkworm. So already we have a play into Appaloosa here. And we still got the 1 monster negator, so we do have some protection here still. And then we use the Dissolver effect to fusion summon using the Joker in hand and the Odd-Eyes Pendulum Dragon on field. And so this is my inboard here, and it's not a bad inboard considering that we didn't open up so good though. But you know, had I still brought out like an extra card, I would have had one more monster here to make like a 3-negate Appaloosa, and I could have actually saved my Jackal King and my Vortex to get them on field. Or I could have like, you know, brought out the extra card here in this zone, and I still could have had like a 4-negate Appaloosa once I used the Mythical Beast Jackal King negate. And that would have been a total of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would have been a total of 6 interruptions. So that was just a little minor misplay on my part, but I'm still going to end on potentially, you know, between 4 to 5 negates, depending on just how you play on your opponent's turn. So you have a Vortex Omni negate, you got a Jackal King monster negate, and then what I like to do, I like to use the Jackal King effect first. And then once I used it, I use IP and I use Beyond and I use Jackal King to make a 3-negate Appaloosa. And if I fusion summon Odd-Eyes Vortex, if I summoned it properly by fusion summoning it, I like to leave it on the field because if it gets destroyed by battle by card effects, I can bring it back out with the Odd-Eyes Pendulum. And then whenever summon, I get the 1 bounce. So that's actually another interruption on your opponent's turn as well. If your opponent plays into that, to like it makes it 6 interruptions. That's the reason why I like to leave it on field though. But yeah, that's just kind of our inboard here. It's a pretty good solid inboard, honestly. Like I said, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 negate, possibly a 6 negate if our opponent attacks into this card. But your opponent opens up pretty solid too. He has a runic freezing curses here, so he has the ability to target one of my effect monsters, and until the end of the turn, until the end of his turn, it's going to negate my effects. So he already has a negate there. He's opened up a Sprite Jet. He has a Bestial Magnamut. Of course, I'm pretty sure he didn't activate this on my turn because I would have just negated it anyway. So it's better for him to keep it on his turn because I can play through my interruptions a lot easier. He has a Sprite Smasher here, which allows him to banish to level 2 or rank or link 2 from that he controls and 1 card I control. So that's pretty good interruption there. His ability to bring out Sprite Blue from deck as well using Sprite Starter. Then he has the ability to target one of my switchable monsters and destroy, and at the same time banish 2 cards from the top of my deck. So he has a very good solid hand here. Active Bestial Magnamut. I don't want to see Magnamut on the field because then he can just use it to go into battle phase and try to attack over IP, and I'm forced to use the interruption. I mean, or forced to use the effect a lot earlier. So I negate it, and then he's going to chain the Runic Freezing Curse, targeting Jackal King. Is he can negate my ability. I then chain Vortex to negate that. He changed Sprite Starter. Unfortunately, I can't do anything about that. And then I chain IP Masquerade to try going to Appaloosa at this point because I've like think to myself like I've already used Jackal King. It's still gonna resolve even though I take it off field. And so I try to use IP Masquerade. I think I can go into a 3-negate Appaloosa here. But then he changed the Runic Flashing Fire, which basically is just gonna destroy my IP Masquerade. However, though, this plays out pretty good for me because at this point he's gonna have to skip his battle phase. That's just one of the restrictions to Flashing Fire here. He can destroy one of my monsters, but he just has to skip his battle phase, which works out for me very good here. But yeah, so you get to see a Chain Link 6 here, which is very unusual sometimes in Yu-Gi-Oh! Or not really, because now we have Ishizu here. You get to see that quite a bit, honestly. So yeah, bring out blue from deck, and the chain's just resolving here. I'm negating a lot of his cards, but fortunately I can't make the Appaloosa, which would allow me just to kind of negate his, would allow me actually just to like really just negate him completely. He would have to pass turn. But unfortunately, he brings out the blue, searches for red. Now it brings out Elf with its effect. And he goes into Link 2 here, into Sprint effect as well to send to Graveyard. He sends Angler. Angler should be able to summon out the 2 Nimble Beavers from deck. And he's going to bring out red from hand. Use the 2 Beavers to go into the first Sprite. Use Sprite to detach and search. And I thought this was a pretty cool tech my opponent's playing here. This is pretty cool spice here. And I remember seeing this card when the deck first came out. I haven't seen it for a while now, but I like this card here. The Superior card is if it's summoned, you get to draw 1 card. And this plays really well with Runic because he uses this card several times during his turn. During my turn. And he has the Runic Fountain on the field spells. So he's actually able to search sometimes for Runic spells or draw Runic spells. And then he can use those from the hand because he has a field spell. So I think it's a pretty cool tech. It goes really well with both these decks. But yeah, now he gets to draw a card, and then he draws into Runic Slumber, which he gets to target one face on the field next time after destroy a battle or card fix is not destroyed. I think he targets his own card. Oh, sorry, no, he uses the second effect, especially from the extra deck. Yeah, sorry. But yeah, and then he's able to search for Runic Fountain, activate Runic Fountain. I'm sorry, he goes into Sprite Elf first, brings back the Sprite, and then he activates Runic Fountain. So like right away, he has a pretty solid board here. Like I said, he lost his battle phase. Now, had he got into battle phase anyways, if he attacked into Vortex, I would have kind of just backfired for him because I would have just summoned it back with Odd-Eyes because it was fusion summon. I would have bounced it back. And the cool is that he doesn't really have any well, he doesn't have any quick play spell cards he can play through Runick Fountain, so I really just have to play through one negate. But he does have Sprite Elf that can bring something back. He can bring back like blue, or he can bring back the other level two, which is no, the other level two is actually is being used as a material in front of his XYZ. So yeah, so blue's like his best option to bring out, and it also allows him to search as well. So yeah, I'm basically just having to play through one interruption. So yeah, flip into attack position, normal summon Joker. He tries to negate them and negate it with Jackal. He then chains Elf to special summon out from the graveyard. I'm gonna go and chain Vortex at this point. And I probably could have saved Vortex because I didn't really know. I didn't know if he had this card in hand or not though. But the good thing, I could have just allowed the Sprite to come out on board anyways. It would have not been that big of a deal. But I could have saved Vortex in case he has a quick play in hand. But yeah, I go ahead and just shotgun Vortex off anyways to negate it. I'm just trying to break his board at this point. My opponent will scoop here though at this point as well. So I search for Odd-Eyes Art Pendulum. I'm gonna pause here. So my opponent is gonna scoop at this point, knowing that it's game over. But I could have summoned out Odd-Eyes Art Pendulum. I don't remember what I had in the graveyard. Unfortunately, I can't click in there. But I do believe that I had a sorcerer card or Skullbat Joker. Let me see. Because I do like I could have made a. It didn't really matter, honestly. So I could have just actually just special summoned out this card. We got a Skullbat Joker already on field. I can easily go into a Axis Code Talker, pop his only monster on field, pop the Runick Fountain, and I would still have Odd-Eyes Pendulum plus Vortex plus a 5,000 attack Axis Code Talker. So that actually is game. But now I'm gonna go showcase you guys game three. So I'm gonna get that set up, and I'll be right back in a second. All right, so here we are now into game three. Whenever I made this deck, I didn't make a side deck for it, so I don't have a side deck. So unfortunately, I'm just having to play my deck full out. I don't have any side options. And my opponent goes first. He opens up once again pretty decent. He has Sprite Jet here. He has the two Nimble Beavers in hand. He also has a Runick here, which will allow him to just banish cards on top of your opponent's deck with number of cards they controls, or you can special out one Runick monster from your deck. So already he has access to Runick Fountain. And he has the ability to target one of my monsters and destroy it. So yeah, I mean, he opens up a really solid deck here. He has access into his Sprite engine, to his rank 2s, link 2s, and then he also has access into his Runick cards. So it opens up really good right here. I have one Sky Iris, the one Sorcerer. We got the one ability to banish one level 7, draw 2 cards, Odd-Eyes Revolution, and an Odd-Eyes Persona. Not the best hand here, guys, but I'm going to showcase to you guys why Pendulum is the best deck going into game 3. Like I said, in game 1, I scoop. I let my opponent go full combo. I scoop just to see his board. I didn't want them to see any of my cards, so that's why I scooped early. Game 2, as you guys just saw, I was able to kind of negate some cards. I was able to kind of break my board, but I came back anyways and ended up winning game 2. And here we are now to the all-important game 3. My opponent's going to go first, no interruptions. Summon out Beaver, bring out Angler. Use the Runick here, bring out from the extra deck. Now use Runick to go in and search for a Runick Fountain. Use the Fusion to search for Runick Fountain. Activate Runick Fountain. Gonna go ahead and make a Sprint here. Sprint has the ability to dump Angler. Angler's gonna bring out a level 2, another Nimble Beaver. Summon out Elf from hand. Search for Sprite Starter. I mean, he has full combo here. Sprite Starter's gonna bring out blue. Blue's gonna search. Search out red there. Gonna go into Gigantic Sprite. Gigantic Sprite detach. Special sort out from hand. And that's why I like this card. He's gonna be able to draw here. Draws into a Runick card. Exactly what he needs. Gonna make an Elf now at this point. Elf bring out. Gonna go ahead and make another rank 2 here. And this is what I have to be playing against. So I have a monster negate right here that he has. We have another monster negate. We have a Sprite Elf that can bring out from the graveyard. He has the ability to destroy one of my special summon monsters and then banish 2 cards on top of my deck. And then he has the ability to target one Splendid Trap I control and destroy it. So I mean, yeah, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 negates plus a bring back from the graveyard, and then he can still activate Runick Fountain. Yeah, so you activate Runick Quick Place, but you can target up to 3 and then draw 3 cards. So yeah, I mean, he has, let's see how many spells he has. I mean, yeah, he has enough spells in his hand. Once he activates these 2, he has the ability to draw 3. So if he draws into any more cards, he can destroy. I mean, this is a very, very tough board to break here. It's a very tough board. And he has a lot of monsters as well on field. But yeah, so we're going to go ahead and go second here now. And we draw into Big Daddy and Demion. So I need to play around 2 monster interruptions, and I don't know his back row. Maybe I think I just know one of his back rows, right? Because he searched it or something, but don't know. I don't remember anymore. But yeah, I don't know anything about his back row, but I do know he has 2 monster interruptions. Activate Odd-Eyes Revolution Dragon. He doesn't interrupt just yet. He's going to go and activate Sprite Elf instead. Bring out a Period Freeze and allow him to draw a card. Like I said, this is a really cool tech here in this deck. And it's also level 2, which goes really good. And so then he draws into another Runick Flashing Fire. So yeah, it's only a once per turn, so that's a pretty cool thing about it. But regardless, they'll still play through 4 interruptions. Put a normal summon on Dark Room, use its effect to try to search the donut. He's going to negate it with the Degen Buster. So now we just got one more interruption to play through. So now we're going to activate Sky Iris. However, though, he does have the ability to pop Sky Iris with his set card, which we don't know yet. But I'm going to go and activate Sacred Sword 7 stars. Banish Endymion. I'm going to search for 2 cards first. So now we draw into Duelist Alliance. We draw into Harmonizing Magician. Fortunately, this is kind of bad here because, like, you want to try to use Duelist Alliance to search for the Pendulum card and Pendulum card to search for the Harmonizing Magician plus the other card we play. So drawing into those two was not the very best thing that we could do. Now I'm gonna go ahead and activate Persona and Skill. I'm gonna activate Duelist Alliance to search. He then chains Runick Destruction targeting Sky Iris, and I was very lucky because I thought he was gonna pop Persona. Had he popped Persona, I mean that would have kind of ended my turn there because I mean technically yeah I could scale another one of these and then use Sky Iris to pop it to search for like an Odd-Eyes like Pendulum or something like that. But then I wouldn't have really anything to do after that. So he pops Sky Archer, which actually plays out better for me anyways. Banishes some cards. Now I'm able to search for Odd-Eyes Art Pendulum. And that's basically it though. So he only has one more interruption. He has the ability to just target one of my special monsters and destroy it. But now this is what our hand is going to look like. We just got one more interruption to play through. And yeah, so yeah, man, we're going to go and scale Odd-Eyes Art Pendulum. Oh, sorry, he's going to go and add a Runick Fountain now. He gets to draw more cards. So he's already used, yeah, I think he's already used these cards, so yeah, he draws into like a Flashing Fire, which unfortunately he has 2 in hand, he's already used it. And yeah, and he's already used Runick Destruction. So I'm actually pretty good here. I'm just still planning to play through one more interruption here. Then we're gonna go ahead and pin summon. Fortunately, we have to go and pin summon early. Can't do it right now. But cool thing is that we get to use Perform Pal's ability to pop. I completely forgot. I forgot that Sprint has the ability to negate as well. So Sprint has the ability to where's it at? You can detach one material from next monster you control, target one monster on the field, and return it to the hand. So I try to pop this card. I try to pop Sorcerer and I try to pop Persona. Harmonization will allow me to bring out another monster from deck. But I try to pop Sorcerer and Disarmor to search for 2 purple black cards. But he bounces back Sorcerer from hand, so I'm able to pop 1, but it's perfectly fine because I get to pop the right one anyways, which is Persona Dragon. So now Harmonized Magician will resolve, allowing me to special not Dragon Color, and now Sorcerer will resolve, allowing me to search for Dissolver, and then Odd-Eyes like Pendulum will now resolve, allowing me to special not from deck. So yeah, we bring out Odd-Eyes from deck. Now we're gonna go and set Dissolver. We have a fusion summon here. We can use these 2 for a fusion and stuff like that. So fusion and then pretty cool here. So Odd-Eyes Vortex will bounce 1 card back to him. I'm gonna go and bounce back to Sprite Elf. He's gonna try and negate it with Red. I'm doing this on purpose because I know that I can now force out the red by bouncing Sprite Elf back to hand. And I'm just going to go and change Vortex now to negate red. So I'm automatically get rid of 2 monsters with just 1 monster. And now we're going to go ahead and search for an Active Masquerena. We're going to use Active Masquerena and Dragon Color for a link into my Master Magician. And this is a point where he's going to chain Runick Flashing Fire, where he has the ability to destroy one of my special monsters. He targets the Endymion, but since it was made with IP Masquerena, it has the protection where it cannot be destroyed by card effects. So that was pretty cool play there. So yeah, he's not able to destroy it at all. I'm able to use its ability to special summon out the Sorcerer from the graveyard, and I'm able to go into a Access Ghost Stalker. It's going to gain the attack from Queen Celine from the Celine Endymion. And I'm able to pop 2 cards on his field. So I go ahead and just pop the two Sprite cards because I don't want to see them on field because it's just going to be follow up for next turn. And we're just going to attack. Unfortunately, we don't have game here. He has 400 attack left, and I have just 1 more negate. But I also have the ability to bring back Odd-Eyes Art. I mean, if Vortex is destroyed, I can bring it back with Odd-Eyes Art Pendulum and then bounce 1 card back again. But yeah, and then he draws into like literally one of the best cards you can just draw into here. He draws really good. So he starts to pop my skill, and I want to save my skill because my skill will allow me to bring back Vortex if it's destroyed. So I'm going to go ahead and negate I'm going to get Runick Destruction so that way I can save, or at least be able to bring back Vortex if something happens. And now he's going to chain the Runick Flashing Fire, which will destroy one of my special summon monsters. I believe he pops Vortex. Vortex will still resolve. It doesn't need to be on field to resolve. And I'm still able to bring back the Vortex anyways because I was able to save Odd-Eyes Pendulum, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to do that. But I was able to draw into like 3 more cards. Yeah, this deck is crazy. It just has so many resources. Like, even with all the multiple interruptions I put up, he's still able just to keep on playing. He's able to draw into the one that brings up the fusion from the main deck. Now he can normal summon out Carrot. He's going to go into Link 2. Use Spright Elf to bring it back from the graveyard. Bring back Period to draw 1 card. Draws into Prohibition. He's going to go make Gigantic Spright at this point. Gigantic Spright detach, bring out blue to search. This deck is crazy good. Now he's going to spring special summon out Jet to search. Make another Link 2 here, I believe. So make another Elf. Activates Dimensional Fissure. Just any card into the graveyard will be banished instead. This doesn't really hurt me too much anyways because I'm playing pins. They're going to go mostly to the extra deck. But yeah, it doesn't really hurt that much anyways. He activates Prohibition, which is a really good card, but unfortunately he's going to activate it and he's going to declare Vortex Dragon. However, though, I'm not sure if you read this card, maybe you just played it anyways in case I made another Vortex Dragon. But since Vortex Dragon is already on the field, it's unaffected by this Prohibition. Had he activated Prohibition first and then declared Vortex Dragon, and it kind of like make this card kind of pointless. But no, it's already on field, so nothing happens. So now I'm gonna go ahead. It's my turn. I'm gonna go and draw for turn. I draw into Spell Power Mastery. The only thing this card can really do right now is just search for like a Endymion. I can't really. It's kind of pointless to search for Servant, but I do have 1 Access Code Talker still with a lot of attack. I have to play through. So he does have the ability to banish one of my cards that I control with Sprite Smashers. He can also activate Flashing Fire to destroy one of my special monsters. And after activating any of these 2 abilities, he still has the ability to draw some more cards. I think right now he activates Runick Destruction in my draw phase to pop my Odd-Eyes Pendulum, and I go ahead and let that resolve because I thought to myself like I already have access to Endymion here. If I try to use an Omni Negate right now just to save a scale, and also all I have to do is just go into battle phase, so I can just have one of these monsters attack over any one of these. It's game. So I'm like, I'm kind of like I don't want to use Vortex just to save my skills here since I already have access to like another high skill anyways. So I choose not to do anything. But then he activates the Flashing Fire to destroy Access Code Talker. And I'm kind of like, I need Access Code Talkers. I at least need one of these cards just to attack over any one of these. So I use Vortex to save Access Code Talker, and then we lose Odd-Eyes Pendulum. He's gonna mill some cards, and then he's gonna be able to draw some cards again. So yeah, a really good deck here. It just keeps going and going. Always has a full hand. And then he draws into like Runick Tip, which is like one of the best cards you can even draw into because now you can search for another Runick card. Just sucks really bad. The other 2 cards are pretty just decent follow up for next turn if he gets to make it that far. And then he draws into a Runick Slumber, which he can target one of my face-up monsters, and next time I want him to destroy a battle record. He can target one of his monsters, and he actually does so. It saves it from the battle phase. Alright, so now it's following my standby phase. He did that all in his draw phase. So he still has the ability to special out 1 card from deck, or he can banish 1 card I control. Banish 1 card he controls and banish 1 card I control. So yeah, I'm going to activate the Spell Power. We're going to go and search for a Big Daddy Endymion, or the big Endymion, so I like to call it. And we can go and scale it. Since he's brought out blue's going to search, and he has once again just plenty of follow-up production. This deck is just so crazy. It's crazy good. This deck is just crazy good. Like I said, this deck needs to get hit if they hit Ishizu tier in the next ban list. So I'm going to pin summon here. I'm going to bring out Odd-Eyes Pendulum, and this is all I can do. There's nothing. Unfortunately, Access Code Talker only has the 1 down arrow, and I have 3 monsters, and all I got to do is just get one of these monsters to attack over any one of his monsters. So he's going to go. I go to attack with Odd-Eyes Pendulum. He's going to go and activate this card. So unfortunately, I can't attack. I go to attack Vortex. He activates that card. He's going to go and banish it. And now the only thing I have left is attack with Access Code Talker, and that is game there. So yeah, this was a really cool game for me. It was really fun to play with. But I want to showcase to you guys because we're playing a tier 1. I believe this is a tier 1 deck, right? Usually tier is just tier 0 because it's just really that much better. But this is still a really good solid deck. And I wanted to showcase to you guys because we're playing just a rogue deck here, and it's still really good up against playing the meta. You know, Sprite is meta. It's not tier 0, but it's still meta. But I thought this was a really cool deck profile. And one of the reasons why, again, like I kind of mentioned in my deck profile, is you need access code talker because it just helps you when you're going into like turn 2 to OTK your opponent. It's a very must card to play, especially when you're playing pendulums like this, because unfortunately, like Odd-Eyes don't have their own link summon yet, and without any links and you got all these cards in the extra deck, it's hard to play pendulums. So yeah, that's one reason why you need access code talker. It just helps you go for games you guys can see. But yeah, so I mean, I was able, game one I lost. Game two, I was able to kind of interrupt my opponent to where he couldn't beat me, and I was able to break his board again. And then in game three, I was able to break my opponent's board, set up a pretty good solid board myself, and then he goes turn two, and I'm on, this is now turn four. I'm able to finally LTK my opponent. It's a very good fun game that I played. I really enjoyed it a lot as well. But I just want to showcase to you guys that this deck is a pretty solid deck for being a good rogue deck. It's pretty budget now that access code got reprinted. As I mentioned, my deck profile, some of these cards are slightly pricey now. Like Odd-Eyes like Pendulum has gone up in price. And then Sky Iris as well went up in price, and the rest of the deck is actually extremely cheap. Access code once again just being one of the more pricier cards in your extra deck though. But other than that though, really solid deck, really fun, really competitive, really consistent as you can see as well, and can also compete against the meta. Anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have, make sure you hit that like button down below. And if you haven't, guys, just please once again subscribe to my channel. It's just a super easy way for you to support me as a content creator, to support channels as a whole as well. And I guarantee you guys, if you subscribe today, you will always draw the out. But anyways, if you're still watching to the end, I appreciate it. You're awesome. Have a great day, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.